Okay, section 5.7 is going to ask you to take a look at some ordered pairs and to determine whether or not it's appropriate to use a linear model to talk about those points. This is something that we did, I think, in a lab. Alright, so by looking at a scatter plot, can you determine whether or not the data can be represented by a line of best fit? And of course, on the left side here, looks like a linear model would be appropriate. Looks like we'd have a positive correlation. And on the right, it looks like a linear model would not be appropriate. Some of you might recognize that and say, ooh, that might be a quadratic model. That might be, since that's the shape of a parabola. So whenever we're going to use the idea of a linear model to estimate in the future or in the past, we're going to use what we call interpolation or extrapolation. Interpolation happens between points. Interpolation happens between points. And extrapolation happens outside of points. So as we look at this example of television advertising expenditure, so on the vertical axis we have, I guess, what's that, $80,000 million at the top, and at the bottom we got $30,000 million. That's lots of money spent on advertising. And then we have our horizontal axis is years since 1995, so year zero would be 1995. We'd say, okay, let's use the data to estimate how much was used in advertising in 1998. So since 1998 would be somewhere around the third year, so somewhere right in here, we could say we think that they probably spent around $40,000 million on advertising in 1998. Using, is that interpolation or is that extrapolation? That's interpolation because it's between points. In 2012, that would be, let's see, that would be 5 plus 1995 is 2000, so 17 years from year zero is going to be about 2012. So there's about 17 years from year zero. And about how much would they have used in 2012? Well, if the model is in fact linear, then they would have used about $70,000 million on advertising. And since our data points, since the data points that we know are down here, and since the point that we want to know is up here, we call that extrapolation because that point is outside of the points that we're using in our data.